Hey, welcome back to the True North podcast. My name is James McKenzie. This week, we have Michael Hayes and Josh King on the podcast with us again. We had them on a few weeks ago and we talked about adventure. This week, we're going to talk about going from passivity to purpose, and what that looks like, how we as men can step in and initiate that process, and be less passive at home, at work, with our families, and the importance behind that. Be sure to look at our website for all the retreats coming up and events. A lot of great things happening at True North right now. So check that out. And for now, we'll kick it over to the True North podcast. Men were created to lead with strength and love, but many get stuck in passivity, fear, or distraction. Men need to wake up, take initiative, and reclaim their God-given role as leaders in every area of life.
Yeah.
Where do you think passivity starts for most men?
I think it starts in childhood and it builds over the course of life. And I think it's the resistance the enemy creates through 1,000 gates of like, hey, don't do this. Don't do that. Hey, I need you to stop doing this. That's like childhood, like learning how to not kill yourself. That's my kids at the youngest age. Then you move into this is the proper way to behave around other people. And this is how you start to enter these activities and you coach them through sports and you do these things like, but then the world's like, you can't do it this way. This is not how you need to do it. This is what success looks like. Mm-hmm. It's a bunch of resistive gates that eventually say either moves men to like one of two categories, like a beaten down heart or this place of passivity. And like, I just don't care. Like, there's probably a moment, something that someone let you down. We have a cousin that is the same exact, that was his story and it just, something snapped and I don't care anymore.
Mm-hmm. A hurt, a wound. Yeah.
A hurt, a wound. Sometimes you're hit, from the enemy and these, it's death by 1,000 cuts that slowly add up to a man who, where's your heart now? Like, why are we looking around and I just see people angry? And that is rising, right? Like this agitation. You'll see it on the road. The Oklahoma City a little bit ago is very different than Oklahoma City right now. And you feel that general tension. It's all the enemy trying to push in and resist. And I think that over time, that moves you to one of those two categories. You're discouraged by that state and it moves into sadness, or it's a passivity, right? By giving up. And that, I feel like that's where it comes.
Complacency, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So 100% agree. I think, and I can, as you're talking about that, I can think of examples in my life of where, hey, I got hurt. I wasn't passive. I got hurt. It's like, you know what, whatever. I also think, it's at the very, very beginning, right? Adam kind of sitting by and watching Eve, like, eat the fruit and sin. It's like he should have stepped in, but it's like, well, if you want to eat, that's fine. So I think it's in our nature.
Yeah.
Like it can be wounding. It can be a lot of things. I think it's in our nature. When I look at my life, a lot of time, it's just lack of vision or a hollow vision. Right. So, I kind of described that coming back off the field and then trying to figure out what's next. I've been through, I feel like I'm coming out, but I've been through a season of passivity because like, I don't know what, it wasn't this clear. I'm talking like it's crystal clear. It's always looking back. Right. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I don't know what's next. And so I have like 100% gear and a 10% gear. Mm-hmm. I wish I had something in between. I really don't. Mm-hmm. Until I get locked in on like, all right, here's where we're going. I'm in danger of slipping way down, right? And for me, that's like, all right, God, here's what I feel like you've got for me. Here's my role in it. And here's the steps to go get it. And when I don't have that, there can be a lot of passivity.
Yeah. I'm thinking there's passivity is not just a checkbox of you are or you aren't. I think that there needs to be an awareness that a lot of men are guilty of being just passive at home. and like they're authoritative, like they have vision that you're talking about, like purpose at work, and then they go home and they're passive, and so if you're listening to this podcast, you're not just saying, oh, I'm not passive because look at what I do at work. Like they'll use that as I'm not a passive person.
Yeah.
But it's like,
that's what we do, right?
Passivity.
Like, yeah. Oh, sorry, cut you
off. Go ahead.
That's what we do. Like you were talking about work, right? No, we like to color everything through that, but it's all spheres. It's your marriage, it's parenting, it's your health, it's your friends and family, it's your service at the church, it's everything, right? All spheres.
It's another tendency of men is to compartmentalize. Now, God has had me do this. This has been kind of my focus and function recently, is bringing together of isolated things. And we as men will compartmentalize. Okay, that's work. Mm-hmm. Then I come home. There was a whole generation that was just like, this is what you did. 5 o'clock, you're off. And you're now at home, and I can be one person in one place, one person to someone else. And again, it's the false self. This is the power of authenticity, though. The more authentic you can be back to who you are, things become easier because you don't have to deal with the compound lies. Yeah. But also, you're gonna get that friction initially, but then everyone is going to learn who you are, and they're going to have to deal with it, right? And that's where he wants to get us, is out of that, this compartmentalization. Bring it together. It's time to start drawing these circles away from each other. And for me, it's the opposite. It's like I am super authentic at home, and then the more I get into the career world, it's passive. And I was thinking here while we were talking, what are the factors that keep you in passivity? It's freedom. Do I feel free? Now, it could be like the golden handcuffs from work, right? Like I have this target and I can't lose that in my life. And so I have to be away, which is my problem. Or is it, fear of loss, whatever those things that the enemy has had you agree with that have kept you from being your authentic you, that's a chain, and you're not truly free. So getting free is the first part. And then the second part is getting strong, because all of those chains and all those things that hit us over the course of that life is I need to get strong too. So it's like freedom, it's strength. But even if you're free and you're strong and you've got no mission as a soldier, you're just sitting there. And the last one is purpose. Like you need a direction. Yeah. But this, a lot of guys don't realize they're in chains, don't have that self-awareness. They're not taking a look inward at all and being honest with themselves. They don't want to do the work like we talked about before, because it's hard, right? And so they're holding on to chains, or they haven't done the work to be strong enough. So you got some guys that are like, I want to go. And you're like, please no. Like you need to take some time. You've got to get real close to God before you go do that thing.
You need to be initiated.
And again, the bigger the calling, the more work that's required. Yeah. Right. That strength thing is all in the character category. And that is not fun work.
Yeah. James, I think you're right. Probably where it shows up the most for men, it would be at home. Marriage and parenting, and that, now I'm saying that I went on this big thing about vision. I think that's true, but parenting for me is more just not really knowing what to do. not knowing what to do.
Now you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah. So, for whatever reason, and so just sort of abdicating that to my wife. You know what? I'll be in charge of work in the car and you take care of the home, which is not good, right? That's it's kind of, I'm the head of the house. I'm the, I have spiritual leadership, and that's complete abdication, just really because I don't know what I'm doing. And I think probably a lot of people fall into that trap.
But yeah, and as you were talking, I was thinking, well, what's the result? And there's been this pattern with True North. When I first came to True North, the guys were being attacked. All the things were about, hey, you screwed up. Like, let's walk you back through that process and help you get close to God to fix things. But then the enemy started going after the women.
Yeah.
They started going after the wives. And I just seeing the pattern of things. And it was almost this passivity. When I hear my wife talk about it with her friends, and again, we communicate about everything. So when I'm seeing the pattern of what's going on in her own friend group, he doesn't, I feel like I am parenting 3 kids. And, we have our 2 kids and I've got my husband. And it's because they haven't stepped into that role, that the women need us to sit in a seat that we were designed to sit, so that they can sit in the seat that they were designed to sit. And their strength comes through the leadership right down, and that they're feeling it and they don't know that, and they don't know how to vocalize it or communicate it. And as a result, marriage after marriage are hitting walls, because God has called us to be a way. And John is teaching us how to be that way, right? True North is teaching us the way. Let us learn that. Let us be the men that we are meant to be at home, honestly and authentically. And she'll just bloom. I saw that, in good friends' marriages, just seeing them just be strong, and then, whoa, right? Just this, when the strength stands up, the whole family, it's like the head, the whole body follows, that shift in that movement.
Yeah. That's so good.
Ryan, sounds like you can relate a little bit. Not to put you on the spot.
Oh yeah. I tell my daughter all the time, I'm like, I've never been a 17-year-old girl and I've never had a 17-year-old girl. So we're figuring this out together.
Yeah.
Like,
That'd be a tremendous story, though.
It would. But yeah, I mean, and then God just fathers me so much through my own children.
Yeah, it's so good.
In the way that I relate to them. I think that I love them well, but so much. And for whatever reason, like I don't transfer that, like the perspective that I have on my own kids. It's hard for me to, or it has been in the past, for me to understand that as much as I love my own kids, God loves me the same way, even more. Right. And so yeah, but it's a moving target.
Yeah. And just when you get it figured out, it's a different stage.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And if it's not
that
one,
great adventure, right?
If it's not one, it's the other. And but it's beautiful. It's beautiful. And to see, I mean, they're getting older now. So to see the fruit of loving them well and being more intentional. When they were young, I was pretty passive. I kind of left it all up to my wife. We homeschooled and all that. I had zero to do with their education. And so Meg kind of carried that burden. And she did well with it, but she shouldn't have had to. She shouldn't have had to do that on her own.
Yeah.
Half of the stories of the guys that we hear come through here are like, my dad wasn't like the father. He was just not stepping into that. Doesn't just affect our wives. It affects our kids. Yeah. Right. In the next generation, being that man helps them be strong. Even just, that's it. You don't know what you're doing, but like, that's it. I've had the benefit of watching this guy first, just a little ahead of me. And I could kind of like, oh, okay, well, we'd make that shift. We'll put that one in there in the docket, Yeah. So sometimes you're able to watch other men who've taken just 5 steps ahead of you. Yeah. And then see that. And then get the courage to take that same step, or to learn from the misstep, the wobble.
That's I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, none of us do.
Yeah, right.
We're all kind of making it up as we go, but find other guys that are a click ahead.
Yeah. Just a click ahead. They don't need so far.
Yeah.
I mean, we're basically writing the script of what the summit is all about right now. Because I'm thinking about the place I can be passive in is play. Well, there's a whole topic during the summit on play, and like play. My 5-year-old daughter always asking me to play, and I'll go in there, talk about not knowing what to do. She wants to do imagination, or where we play family, or we play with toys and whatever. And I'm like,
Let's play clean up the garage.
yeah,
Yeah. Let's play. Help me with the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
but like they want you're doing this role playing stuff with toys, and I'm like, my mind is just completely blank. But I'll go passive so many times because I don't want to dig to find the fun things to engage in. That instead, I'll say maybe later. That's my passivity. Maybe later.
I've done
Well,
that hurts because it's me too.
Yeah.
God has encouraged me to stop and engage. Like, it's like re-engaging your priorities. You got God, you got your wife, then you got your kids, then work, then ministry. But like, work's way down here. But oftentimes because of schedule, because of time, this innate demand on things, or the way the world operates that we're trying to fit into. You didn't see Jesus do that. He would slow down. Girl is dying right now, and he didn't change his pace because he was following the Father and not the rush.
Yeah.
This, like, getting out of that the rush cycle, stepping to the side in his river and not in the world's, is so important. And what he's been saying is, I need you to, every time your kid comes up to you, I need you to stop and engage. Yeah. You don't have to engage for long, but just engage. Don't meet them in passing. Get engaged, look them in the eye, listen to what they're actually saying. I know it's very hard. I have little kids to even follow their logic, but I'm like, what are you saying, little human being? But he's been calling me to that. And that's not a perfect endeavor at all. But he's like, hey, he's course corrected me. And that's what the Lord does, is he says, okay, this needs to shift. This is important. Focus here, and it's not about doing more. It's actually about doing less, saying no to more, and pausing and being present.
Yeah.
Whenever my kiddos are young, they're all asking a million questions and always wanting to do something and play. And one of my faults really was like, well, we need to do something productive and then we can play. So my son would be wanting to throw the ball or something, and I'd be like, well, let's do this. And it'd be some type of work, that I already wanted to do. And I'm teaching him along the way and stuff like that. But inevitably is what happens is we run out of time for the play.
Yeah.
Because as you know, anytime you do a project, you spend half the time looking for the tool. Then you need to go to the hardware store and grab something or whatever. And so by the end of it all he wanted to do, and he would have been satisfied probably with 5 minutes of undivided attention, turned into hours of him helping me do what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then we never got around to doing what he wanted to do. And so years ago, I really recognized that, got super convicted. And so now it's like, yes, if I don't have a really good reason to say no. And so when the question is asked, and that's in a multitude of things, it's like, it's stopping, being inconvenienced, and sure, we can do that. Because often it's like, I'm thinking this is going to take a huge chunk out of the day, or it's going to be super inconvenient. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even now. I mean, he's on to the next thing, Molly's on to the next thing. So
yeah. And the younger they are, the shorter that 5 minutes is, like 30 seconds actually.
Yeah.
And what I was feeling like the Lord was saying is, like, engage them in their work first before you move to yours. Earn the right to bring them into your work, with the thing you want them to do. Yeah. Their work is play. That's their job when they're little, Go engage them in their work, and then they'll want to move into yours. Right. And my daughter, it's like a little thing. I want to say, I don't know. All right, what do you want to do? And then you just go. You just go and bring them into the thing you were wanting to do, or you can move on and they feel loved. Yeah. But that, engage them in their work.
Yeah. And I think a beautiful strategy in beginning to initiate out of passivity is actually to start to combine or overlap some of the, you mentioned you've got your marriage, parenting, health, work. Like what we've done is my marriage overlaps with the health, because Jess and I work out together. And it's to the point where if I work out without her, she is very offended because it's our time together doing that. And so I'm no longer passive with my health, and I'm also not being passive with her. So men, you don't have time, right? Nobody has time for anything. Well, I'm two birds with one stone here. Yeah. Where she's being pursued through my presence during our workouts together, and my health's being taken care of. And then same thing, my health with parenting my son. We're starting to play tennis together, and we play baseball together and football together. Like, we're doing all these sports together. Well, I'm getting pretty darn good workouts through that. Yeah. Right. And so I'm not being passive with my health, whereas my passivity would have had me in the lazy boy, right? On my phone or watching TV, but initiating out of that. And I think what you're talking about too, like I think it's a great thing to have Gabe with you working on something that you need to get done.
For sure.
Especially if we had the initiation would be not allowing the project to consume our attention. Mm-hmm. We can be in the project, but allow them to consume our attention. Yeah. With the project. And so I think that that's a great way to step out of passivity, is to step into these combining areas.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. One of the things, another step, like, okay, so I was talking earlier, okay, are you strong? Do you have are you able, like, do you have the character to hold what you're about to go do? Have you gotten rid of all the chains? What's holding you back? The things so when you do the work to get free, when you do the work to get strong, the purpose is actually quite easy, because God, at the moment you're ready, as long as you are spending time and you're hearing from him, he'll tell you. Yeah. It's just a call. We're actually more guilty. And he said, sometimes I have to pull things from you because I know you'll do them immediately, because we're so task oriented. It's like, I'll knock that thing out. I'll go do it. When we get orders, we move, right? So that order comes in his divine timing at the right time for the right purpose. But when that comes, he has no doubt we'll move. What he's more concerned about is we're moving before we're ready. Because if we move before we're ready, we'll either be the many fallen stories of kings in the Bible, or we'll be, and it's not, he is loving God. He is a loving Father. He will not put you in a situation you are not ready for, but you are more than able when you're ready. And he has designed you for that purpose. So at that moment, and when it's initiated, answer the call, answer the call. But do the work so you can get to that moment. So many people, I think, haven't got the call. It's easy for you to say, you've got, he told you that, but he hasn't told me. Well, have you done the work? Yeah. Have you, character is work. It was a decade for me. Like, it was a whole decade before I even started getting, calls. Everything else was pointing out, you're going to deal with that. You're going to work on that. Yeah. You're going to get free of that. Are you going to do the discipline things? He spent a whole year just getting me out of liking comfort. Yeah. Like, I had a bad back, and he sent me camping, and he was like, and it was not fun in that season because everything hurt. And if you know camping, you're down, you're up, you're moving things around. It was not fun. He did it for the sole purpose of getting over pain and getting over comfort.
And you had to decide to go camping.
Yeah, I had to decide. Yeah. Like, I know I didn't, at that time, it did not sound fun. Yeah. Because I was in pain. I was like, no, I should probably be in the hospital. He's like, no, go out there, lift up 500 pounds worth of gear over time and do those things. Do it, sleep in the cold, sleep on the ground, sleep in the dirt, getting out of my suburban lazy boy, and that really prepared me to be like, no, I've done harder things than this. Or I've done, a lot of it was fear. Like, recently, just the exercise we did in learning motorcycle, that was a day of fear. You're just out there, you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. And that guy said that you can be really, really injured.
I probably needed a little more fear.
Yeah. So like, that was courage. I'm going to get something in you for the season to come.
Yeah.
So James, I know you're supposed to be asking the questions, but I kind of have one, because we're talking about all these different spheres, and your example about parenting kind of hit me hard. All right. So if you're sitting there thinking like, man, I need to be less passive in finances, in health, with my kids, in my job, like how do you prioritize those? Like I liked your example of like where to kill two birds with one stone, but like how do you prioritize so that you don't get overwhelmed with like it's everywhere?
Yeah, for me, it is a walking with God deal. Like he's going to lay it all before you in the time frame, then, because all those things obviously need to be dealt with. Like none of and I think that's something every man needs to realize, that maybe we're taking for granted, but every single one of those areas has purpose.
Yeah.
Your health, your finances. Obviously, we talk a lot about parenting and marriage and work. Purpose, and acknowledge like there is legitimate purpose in all that. There was purpose in your camping trip, right? Whereas we can think of these things and think, what's the return on this?
Yeah.
And I think that question's still relevant, and to talk about priorities, but realizing even the least of them needs to have your whole heart. You need to be wholehearted in. And so for me, it's the natural flow. It's walking with Jesus at his pace.
Yeah.
Because I'm not jam packing our evenings with activities so that I can avoid passivity, right? Because rest is relevant as well. And but getting home, and we talked about this.
So maybe more being fully present with like the stuff that's already going on.
Yeah,
like
and we talked
your
about
kid comes up to you.
Yeah,
I'm here.
We had a really great podcast a couple months ago with Derek England. We talked about winning at home. And so you've got your work portion of the day. You've got your alone time with God in the morning. Like it's these stages, and then you get home. And a lot of us think, okay, we've completed our mission. We're at home. It's time. We've earned rest. No, like we get home, and this is our stage 3 where we need to go win this time at home. And that can look like 15 minutes of being down on the floor with your kid. And so as far as prior, I feel like I'm going all over the place.
No, this is good.
As far as prioritizing goes, there isn't a checklist. I've never had a checklist. It is being fully present moment to moment.
Yeah.
And then giving yourself rest.
And then trust God to orchestrate hey, it's time to work on this one. I'll orchestrate those.
I think the tricky ones are, for me, are finances. Like if I'm not intentional about finance, because it's not going to come and just sit itself on our couch. Like my kids, my wife, our health has now, that all comes up naturally, that I can just walk with God. There's probably some more intentionality I need to bring to prioritizing our finances and having conversations around that. But
yeah, and I thought of two things that God does. One, love the person that's in front of you.
Yeah.
Just like simple rule, like if they're coming to you, they have value and worth, and they're an image bearer. Like love the person. I don't care if that's a homeless person. I don't care if that's your child. I don't care if it's the person you disagree with at work. Like love the person that's right in front of you. That's like one. That's rule number 1, right? Number 2 is recognize the season you're in.
Yeah.
So your focus may not be so when you're stacking up all those priorities, you may be looking at 5 layers of an onion, and God's saying, this is the season for you because your kids need a good dad. Your kids need him to be whole so that they can be whole.
Yeah.
There needs to be a proper figure and function. So you're working on you in this season, which, like you described that season in Africa. Like I was working on me in that season. Your family needed it. Great. When that's done, he moves you to the next concentric ring, which is your family. And it's your domains. You don't even have you under control. So am I going to trust you with more talents? So I get me under control. Then I move to the next is my family. And then he trusts you. Okay, you've got your family. Let me move you to a community. That could be your church community. That could be work. That could be just the people around you. Like the people on your team. Like that was how he did it for me. You like move to the next concentric ring. When I feel like all of those disciplines that have worked from you inward outward are contained and controlled, and you've got like a good, you are being you authentically in that space and loving people. Oh, okay. Now that's when the big thing comes in. The thing you're hoping for down here. Don't worry about that. That is not the season you're in.
Yeah.
So your priority is you if you're in this season. The priority is your family in the next. Yeah. And then those things build. You never stop working on you. You never stop working on your family. It's concentric rings of domain. Yeah. That until he builds you to your kingdom, till he gives you the role.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, I think what I was thinking is that the risk as men, because we compartmentalize so much, is to solely focus on one thing or another. Whatever it is we see as weak, then we completely focus on that. Meanwhile, everything else is falling apart. And I think, though, with the maturation of our walk and walking with God, it kind of, those things, we work on them and then they grow, and then sort of the circles kind of meld into each other, and kind of everything's moving in the right direction. Yeah. But it starts with doing the work and walking with God.
The kingdom of God is a mustard seed. Yeah. It starts very, very small, and it's an idea in your heart, and then he grows inward, outward. Yeah. And you can't take on the outward before you deal with the inward. And that's the growth. Yeah. It's a journey.
Yeah. And so if this is really hitting home for you, if you're like, I'm loving what you guys are talking about, and you want time to sit in this, come to the summit, October 16th through the 19th. Like that would be a great weekend for you to actually think about what you're learning or what's stirring in your heart during this session. And the summit will be like the treasure in the field for you, I promise. So check that out. Michael, Josh, thank you guys so much for joining us on the podcast. It's been incredible. You guys have been really great guests. We're going to have to do this again.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Okay.